Okay, here's the video that I promised. Before I start, I want to give a few little basic things that you're looking for. Um, what I have here is $50 worth of rolled pennies that have been turned back into the bank. And what I do is search through the pennies and looking for specific dates. Um, right now, any penny from 1909 to 1981 is worth, by weight in copper, 2.5 cents each. So if you find one, it's already worth 150% of a penny. Now, in '82, they started making copper-coated zinc pennies, but they also made copper pennies the same year, pure copper or almost pure. So I'm going to go into that later, but for now, what we're looking for is anything from 1909 to 1981. Now, from 1909 to 1958, the cents were made were called wheat pennies, and the front of the coin is called the obverse. The back of the coin is called the reverse. Now, this is a wheat cent. It's going to look different on the reverse than a memorial cent. These were made from 1909 to 1958. These are worth at least 3 cents each and can go up to an unlimited amount depending on the date and condition. Okay? 1959, the memorial cent started. This is the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Kind of blurry. But you'll find these from 1959, starting in 1959. So from 1959 to 1981 are copper. These are the ones that you're looking for and you want to pull out. Then also, you never know what you're going to find in these rolls. I find every now and then a novelty type coin. Let's see. That was it. You see, it's got a Nevada stamp on the front. Now, this doesn't make the coin very valuable. It was a novelty that all of the states were counter stamped by a private mint, and these things can bring 25 cents, 50 cents, depending on if somebody needs it for a collection, maybe even up to $1. So this is something that you'll want to pull out. Okay? So in my setup, I have rolls of coins there. I have a jar to put in my better ones, a high-powered magnifying glass, and over on the side I just have a dump bucket where I put things I don't want. Every now and then I even find a dime. Sometimes dimes get dirty, they get put in penny rolls, and that gives you a real good profit margin on a dime. Alright, so let me just start and just open one and see what we find in the first one. It's always exciting. I never know what I'm going to find. Okay, now the Shield cents came out. I'm not sure exactly what year they came out. They're a later, a more modern design. But you'll know that these are all going to be copper-coated zinc. So I tossed them to the side into the dump bucket. Constantly changing designs is hard to keep up with. It's very complicated. So I can automatically see a lot of Shield cents. I just push them to the side. I can see others that are dated after 1981. And after looking for so long, you can kind of spot the copper ones without really even looking. Well, looking closer to date. Okay, so all of these Well, nothing in this roll. They're all copper coated zinc. Throw them in the dump bucket and see what we have in this one. Oh, it's gonna drop something. Okay, I can just at a glance and say most of them are modern. Look at that. Okay, here, found a 1967, and it's in good condition. Still got luster, so it goes in my heat jar. 1967 is a pretty early day. Okay, there's a 1966. That's copper. Okay, here is a 1970D. We'll talk about mint marks later. Okay, and I can just glance through and see that there's a 1974. See, I can kind of pick them out because I've looked at so many. Okay. The copper ones just kind of stand out to me, and you'll get an eye for it the more you do it. Alright, so all of those look right there. Zinc. We'll throw them in the bucket. Take a look at a different kind of roll here. Never know where these came from, what merchants turned them in. Somebody could have been hoarding up pennies for years and years and decided to roll them up and bring them in. You don't know what you'll find. Okay, 1978. $1981. Now that's copper. And I glance through, nothing really stands out. 75D. Take a little closer look at the darker ones. So every time I put a penny in that jar, I am making 1.5 cents. 1.5 times my money on every one that I put in there. And like I said, it's a slow process. The profit margin is very low, but if you do it enough and save enough over time, you'll have money. And by the way, the guarantee is locally for the local kid collectors. I buy those for 2 cents each. I might have to take a break. I hear my dog barking over there. Okay, there's a 1980D. Okay, that looks like that's all I'm going to find in this one. But that's okay because it doesn't cost me anything. I put these pennies that are not copper over here in a bucket, let it build up, and then take it to the bank and dump it and deposit it. And that's how you grow your savings. You decide how much you're going to buy in pennies. Just say you put $5. Buy 10 rolls. Bring them home. Go through it. Take out the wheats. Take out the coppers. Put the rest in the bucket. And take it back. Keep your coppers at home. The 1961D. The 1964. Keep your coppers at home. 1980, 1964D. And go and make a deposit. Deposit the rest back into your savings account or your checking account, the 76D. And that way, you're saving money at the same time. Now what I recommend is when you get $20 or $25, there's an 81, $20 or $25 worth, buy a savings bond. Series I savings bonds right now are paying almost 7%. You cannot get 7% return on your money in a secure investment anywhere that I know of right now. Okay, let's do one more. I'd like to at least find one wheat penny before I stop the video. So let's see. Okay, there's 75. I like these 70s and 60s. Okay, there's an 82. Now 82, like I said, they made some copper, and then partway through the year is when they started making the zinc. So I put it to the side, and it has to be weighed because the weights are different. It has to be weighed to verify whether it's copper or not. So we'll talk about that later. And see, that's a 1963 or 65 that I just dropped. Anyway, it's down there. I'll get it. 1960. That's almost as old as I am, and that's old. 1975. 1976D. 1978. 1979. And see, the more of these you take out of circulation, the more scarce they're going to become. And that's another one of my goals, is to get as many out of circulation as possible. And that way, theoretically, the less supply of something out there is out there, the more valuable it becomes. So let's get them out. 1980. 1981. There's a 62 that's older than me. If I find one older than me, I know it's old. There's an 81. 69. There's another 82. We'll put it to the side and be weighed. Now there are specific dates and varieties that you could be looking for that are worth a lot more than just their weight in copper. But that requires some research and study, and it gets relatively complicated. Alright, I'm going to do one more because I really want to find a wheat penny. I know there's at least one in here somewhere. It's an early one, 82, to be weighed. Nothing's popping right out at me.